Hello, and welcome back to Health with Sveta. I am Dr. Sveta Silverman. Guys, today we are going to be diving into a topic that has dominated headlines and timelines, GLP-1. But we're not talking medications. For that matter, you do need to go and contact your responsible healthcare provider. No, as a cellular doctor, I'm so excited to dive into essence of GLP-1, why and what it is for us, why and what it is so essential for our cellular health. Welcome, guys. What's up, Reuben?
Oh man, I'm so excited. I'm excited to learn about this topic because things that are it's making the headlines, things like Ozempic and stuff like that. And so um I want to talk about GLP-1. And for me, that just sounds like science jargon. And so what is GLP-1? Can you break that down?
Absolutely. The thing is, guys, of course, as I said, we're not discussing
Yeah.
medications. I'll tell you one thing. Ozempic, or this category of drugs, it is a revolution. It is a revolution in our living community. Why? Because what is society when you start doing something that affects your appearance? That's when it catches the headlines, then when it catches the attention, then when people start talking about it. These sequences and consequences come late. But when people look at you and say, my goodness, what happened to you? You lost so much weight. So that creates an attention. GLP-1. GLP-1, I'm not going to, it stands for glucagon-like peptide 1, and we're not going into the medical terminology and the medical, Webster. The importance of this GLP-1 is what is to me about the cells? It's a balance. It's a metabolic synchrony. What we need to do, it's like our cells are basically functioning the same. Brain cells, gut cells, immune cells, they're all functioning the same, and they're all functioning in the symphony, in the synergy, in the synchrony when they're healthy. And that metabolic balance and the symphony, it's like GLP-1 is one instrument. Estrogen is another instrument. Let's say brain, it's a third instrument. But they all need to work in symphony, not in cacophony. So the melody sounds smooth. So GLP-1 is that one of the major contributors so that metabolic balance and the health, and it started making sense. So let's start actually, how did it all started? The notion of GLP-1 and the drugs actually came a couple decades ago when they started researching the effect of GLP-1 on insulin production, on diabetes, on an insulin result or effect on the cells. So, what is GLP-1? GLP-1 is a hormone, like a whole bunch of other hormones. But the funny part is, usually when we think about hormones, we think about the special organ that makes them. Let's say pancreas makes hormones, everybody knows, right? Adrenal glands, we know about. Oh, hormones, adrenal glands, I'm so stressed. We know thyroid hormones, right? So kind of like a special organ. Well, GLP-1 is the hormone that actually is produced in our gut. Ding, 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 meaning that if it is produced in our gut, immediately check. Gut has to be healthy. So if gut is not healthy, those cells, there are K cells, sorry, just for couple terms, they're just K cells and L cells. So they make these hormones, GLP-1 GLP-1. They're in a category of this group of hormones that are called incretins. Forget about the terminology again. So gut cells. So now what stimulates, so now we're jumping again, what stimulates gut cells actually is our microgut and the production of the microgut. Again, ding, 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 when I told you about this symphony, so now I just hooked you up to GLP-1 gut, GLP-1 microgut. Fine. We started with the function. Why the whole science and the research started decades ago. They noticed when they were researching these experimental compounds on mice, obese mice started losing weight. So that was a discovery. So obviously the research, the clinical trials, and this kind of thing led to GLP-1 drugs for diabetics. So for the diabetics, it's very important to start controlling their insulin level. So GLP-1 works on insulin. Now, okay, fine. It worked for diabetics, and that's how it all started. Then they started looking and noticing one thing, that the not only the diabetic indices improved and started to get better, so that diabetes was under control. But as I already told you, mice started losing weight. So, and then people who, who were on the drugs, they started losing weight. So the major industry thing on these drugs and stuff, the industry thing, what is this? I mean, the majority of the population, the abundance, in a sense, sorry for this, they're not interested in diabetes, right?
They're
They're
interested
interested
in the
in their
weight loss.
waistline.
Yeah.
So then that's the waistline of GLP-1 drugs or ingredients or something, or compounds. That was a side effect. That was a very good side effect from something that it tend to be for the diabetes. So that's when the industry caught on to this. So now we present for the majority, for the population, we present, oh, if I'm on GLP-1, I'm going to lose weight. What did we start our podcasts? We started our podcast on the foundation of health. And the foundation of health is our lifestyle choices.
Yeah.
And our lifestyle choices, of course, are going to apply to the cellular health and the functioning of this L cell making GLP-1. Now, the third category, so then what happened in a sense? How did those GLP-1, not just the hormone, the compound. So what happens is, why? And it's interesting. Why can't we lose weight? A lot of people go on gazillion diets, exercise their tails off, pardon my language, and they cannot lose their weight, right? They do everything right and they can't lose their weight. Why? So that, what is the importance, another such critical importance of GLP-1? It's not just the hormone that does this. What it does, it regulates few very important things in every cell. So the GLP-1 is released and it goes to every cell of the body. But what does it regulates? So how do we sustain our cell? We need to eat. So not only so when we eat, it goes through the gut system, then it goes through the, let's say, absorbs through the blood or something like that, and it goes into the cells. The food goes into the cells, right? Let's say broken down carbohydrates, our proteins, our fats, they go into the cell. How? The cell doesn't just let them in. They're gates. And that's the problem. So the gates, some of the gates, are regulated by insulin. GLP-1 not only regulates insulin, but GLP-1, some compounds, also regulates these gates. So what happens when we can't lose weight? It's called insulin resistant. So the gates are not opening. So the insulin is on board, it's there, it's waiting, but the gates are not opening. We need to help. So that's when these GLP-1 components or something like that, they help to open these gates. So let's say I'm probably one of the tough insulin resistant, because weight loss for me is a lifetime. I will not say struggle, but it's basically like commitment. It's a hard go. It's like few of my classmates and friends, they can eat as much as they want to. They skinny than a stick and they run and they just awesome. Their metabolism is fast. I'm a slow metabolizer. So meaning that, let's say I eat and I get those ingredients in that food. So first of all, and then I get a rush of insulin, because insulin is like the more you eat, in a sense, you get some more insulin to bring this food into the cells. But the gates are reluctant. They're not opening. They just, they need some help. So the food is outside, waiting at the gate, and the inside is starving. And the inside is calling, I want more food. The inside is telling the brain, I want more food, I want more food, I want more food. So I'm full, but I'm hungry. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a vicious circle. So as soon as I let something else, like additional GLP-1 activator, so to help to open the gates, to regulate that x-axis of those essential nutrients with the help of an insulin. And that's that revolution of GLP-1. So that notion of different kinds of GLP-1 activators. So now there are obviously GLP-1 activators on the pharmaceutical aspect. And I told you, go to see healthcare professionals. And there are GLP-1 natural activators. Go see the other part of the healthcare professionals, or do some due diligence, do some learning. So that is what now. And I told you GLP-1 goes to every single cell. The extremely important notion that there is a very, very tight connection between GLP-1 and the brain, and especially the midbrain. That is so important. That is why we need to keep the GLP-1 in control, in an improper synthesis and in proper opening of the gates. The connection between GLP-1 and the brain is extremely important. Let's take a quick break to talk about some tangible steps you can take right now towards true health and happiness. My life's purpose is to empower you to seize control of your life, especially when it comes to wellness. But every person's needs are unique, and there is no one-size-fits-all solution. That's why we're launching a brand new initiative. Now, you can book one-on-one call with me, Dr. Sveta Silverman. Please do. Together, we'll talk about your history, your health history, how you feel, how can you improve on your health, the goals. I'll use that information to help you to plan a custom approach full of recommendations that I learned not only from my medical career, but from my personal journey. Let's unlock the secrets of happier, healthier you. Visit healthwithsveta.com/contact to book your free 30 minutes conversation and call with me. Now back to the episode.
I think I just want clarification on like the this is not me asking you for advice at all. But just to be clear for the audience, just to make things a little more obvious. But like when you say the GLP-1 activators on the pharmaceutical side, that's the Ozempics and things
Oh,
like
the
that, right?
category of these drugs,
That
yeah.
category, that stuff.
Synthetic.
Um, what would be the category of like the natural?
What an awesome question.
That I'm curious about that.
What is an awesome question? Because what did I tell you? We started with the foundation of life as foods and as the lifestyle choices. Because is even, I mean, when the drugs are needed, they need it, but it's my responsibility to upregulate my GLP-1 physiologically. What does that mean? Physiologically, the way the nature intended. The nature intended me to eat right, to exercise, to sleep, to breathe, and to take care of my gut support. And all these things are going to upregulate or keep my L cells that are going to make GLP-1 in proper health. Let's start. So part one, when you say, let's say, naturally, part one, microgut. Our microbiota, not talking probiotics because probiotics we cannot take. Microbiota, what's in our gut and what is so important. There are a few things that stand on. And unfortunately, I'm going to get a little bit more medicinal. What happened? We need, so this L cells in the gut, in our colon, they make GLP-1. That's their function. If they're not functioning, there is no GLP-1. That's number one. What is going to stimulate L cells to make GLP-1? Certain foods. Certain foods like some bitter foods. Like bitters, like, bitter herbs. Let's say a celery. Let's say, sorry, I didn't say that, but let's say hops. Let's say it's not that I'm against alcohol or something, but for example, and I don't drink, but if you find locally brewed, alive beer, clean beer with proper hops,
What about like dealkalized beer that has hops?
I honestly don't have any answer on this. I just know that, see, the problem with a live beer, non-pasteurized. So the process. So I don't know whether you can do de-alcoholized beer without that processing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah, or
saying?
if it like if it terminates the hops in it, right? Yeah.
The unpasteurized beer is an alive thing. So this kind of things, and it's just the cleanest product. So it's like, I know it has this, this, and this done. So, okay, fine, we did this. Now, what else? Something that is called short chain fatty acids, which are made by our microgut, by some. So let's say people take probiotics with, there's everybody knows the species. Everybody knows lactobacilli. Everybody knows bifidobacilli. Everybody knows that. So these are very, very helpful. So what happens is there are certain species in our microgut that, microgut, these microorganisms, they're living organisms. So they eat. We feed them with food, again, good food, not processed, not refined sugars, and then they metabolize it, and then they excrete it. Pardon my gruesome language, they actually poop it out.
Yep.
The microorganisms, they poop out their stuff, living in, you know where. So that quote unquote microorganistic poop is actually the food for these L cells. So, and it's called postbiotics. Funny part is the little poop has a medicinal term. It's called postbiotics. These are short chain fatty acids. Uh, and again, you can take, let's say, propionate, butyrate, something in the. I don't. I prefer to eat stuff that is going to boost my microgut. Now, the interesting thing is, again, when we were talking probiotics are, we can take 5 species, 10 species, but microgut has 1,000 species. So you can't do the probiotic with 1,000 species. So you need to feed microgut. So same story, you need to feed your microgut so that microgut is going to produce food for L cells to make GLP-1. That's step one. So number one is your microgut support. And we were talking about something that is called prebiotics. So let's say unripe bananas, white cold potatoes, onions, garlic, um, uh, different kind of herbs, chocolate, dark chocolate, berries. So that's number one. And that is also important because I need to bring something. Now there is an industry which is built on one certain species, which is called Akkermansia municiphala. It's just one species in our microgut that is extremely important in activating L cells, making GLP-1. The thing is, taking acromancy is a very tricky thing. There are very, very few and far in between of those probiotics, and don't even start looking for them. What you need to start looking is for the prebiotics that are going to feed the microgut and make this acromancy municiphala. That's number one. Fine. So what we did, we boost our microgut to start feeding L cells. So the second component is cleaning and upregulating these L cells and feeding them with other stuff, herbs and other good foods, and activating them. How do we activate our cells? We were talking about it. NRF2 activation, the reduction of oxidative stress. We need to clean those cells. We need to clean them. We need to keep them healthy. We were talking about it, NRF2 activation. That's part two. Now, part three, we need to open the gates. And to need to open the gates again, naturally, foods, herbs, eggplant, radishes, licorice, not licorice as a candy. No, 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 no. The herb, the root, licorice roots, and a whole bunch of other things. So to upregulate properly, you need to take care of all these three components. Component number one, again, your microgut health. Component number two, L cells, reduction of that oxidative stress. Component number three, opening the GLP-1 receptors or GLP-1 gates. Again, foods, different herbs and roots. Look it up. Proper nutrition, proper nutraceuticals. That's how you do it.
What do I need to do to fulfill those 3 steps practically?
Okay, and another thing is, okay, well, it's the same things. It's exactly the same things. We will start with foundation of food. I always do Mediterranean style diet, minus pasta, minus refined carbohydrates, minus biscottis, sorry, minus cannolis. So I like my Mediterranean style diet. I like gluten free. This is my take because it's so clean in terms of I am reducing even intermittent leaky gut. So I'm reducing the least amount in a sense, not any, but kind of the amount of the toxins that can leach through this leaky gut gaps. So food. I also like, it is very important for our insulin control in GLP-1. I like intermittent fasting because what intermittent fasting does to us, I have not touched on synergy between mitochondria, our energy, our cellular energy, and GLP-1. So when we intermittently fast, we allow our cells to recover and we allow our mitochondria to recover. That's the essence of intermittent fasting. So that's food. So then we definitely need, see, at my age, I do support my gut with prebiotics because I'm pretty sure I don't get enough regardless. So I do take prebiotics. And again, we will talk about, like, go on my website and see what I take. You don't need to do mine, but that's what I take, and I'm very happy. I like the ingredients and everything. I like how clean they are. With this said, how do you feed your gut? You do yummy stuff. Now it's in the season. So now, sorry, people, you don't like dandelions. I do. Dandelions are amazing for GLP-1. Now we're starting to get berries. So berries are at the farmer's market. Asparagus is at the farmer's market, prebiotic. Prebiotic. And indeed, my fave is the dark chocolate. So then second part, same thing, NRF2 activation. How do you NRF2 activate? Again, go on my website and look into the NRF2 activator that I take. And I do take foods that activate my NRF2. I do cruciferous vegetables. I do cabbages. I do NRF2 activator, again, berries, blueberries. I do green tea NRF2 activator. But I support, again, at my age, because I'm over 40, so I need a boost of NRF2 to clean my oxidative stress. But on top of it, let's say for part 3 and also 1, 2, and 3, I do take my natural GLP-1 activator complex. I have a tri complex that does the microgut, that does the L cells, and does the receptors. Same thing, it's on my website. You don't need to do mine, but you can find whatever fits your fancy. Find whatever you're comfortable with. Again, go to your healthcare professional because maybe you need more than that. Maybe you do need a drug. But you definitely do need, everybody needs to clean up their act with the food, with an exercise, with the sleep, with the going outside, and with the microgut support. Everybody needs that. There is no ways around it. Thank you for joining us for today's episode on Health with Sveta. I hope this conversation brought you some clarity, insight, and deeper understanding of GLP-1. Guys, it is just a beginning. Remember, your health journey is personal, and no single solution works for everyone. Whether you are exploring medical options or just learning what's out there, stay curious, stay informed, stay kind to yourself. Your health is your responsibility. My health is my responsibility. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with those who might benefit. Visit me online at my website, as I mentioned, www.healthwithsveta.com, for more resources, upcoming episodes, and ways to connect. Up until next time, take care, stay well. Hugs and love to you.